Hello guys, it's Angelina and Dima from Quechua MH100.
And for the video of today, we have a very exciting review to make of the new upgraded version of Quechua MH100 tent from Decathlon. We previously have made a cheap versus expensive tent comparison where we featured the old version of Quechua MH100 tent, and this time we are going to do the full review of this iconic tent.
Due to the numerous reviews, it claims to be most budget-friendly, easy to assemble yet good quality solid tent that a lot of hikers, bikepackers, motorcyclists love to use.
So if you're intrigued as much as we are and can't wait to learn why it is so popular and what is so special about it, stick around as we are going to figure it out in this review. Before we start, we just wanted to mention that we already have a long experience using Quechua tents, and overall we were always happy about them. We've used them for a long time and they proved to be the solid quality items.
We have used Quechua Quick Hiker Ultralight tent that we previously have made a review on our channel, and also the old version of this Quechua MH100. So we already kind of know what to expect, but still are excited to do a review of this new model and have a look at all its features and characteristics.
So the weight of this tent with all the kit is 2.4 kilograms. It comes in a nice practical bag of 8 liters that can be called a standard compression bag, but it still allows you to store the tent in a quite efficient way. The dimensions of the tent in the bag state is 54 cm by 16 cm. Inside the bag you have a tent body, fly sheet, 2 poles, 7 tent pegs, and 4 guy ropes. The bag is convenient because you don't need to stuff the tent to pack it, you just put it inside and close using 2 elastic bands. It has a small compartment especially designed for storing the bags, which is a nice feature. However, because of the fabric it is made of, it is a bit too heavy and bulky for a compression bag. The fabric of the bag is the same as the ground sheet of the tent itself.
The pegs are from metal, so they weigh quite a bit. And they have dull end that is no end roll at all. That is a huge disadvantage, because it will be hard to insert, especially in some rocky types of terrain. Also, they are shorter than usual than all the standard pegs we're used to, so we would recommend using other, more lightweight and ergonomic shaped pegs.
Frankly speaking, the weight of this tent is not on the light side at all. It is quite a bit too much for a hiker or backpacker who is carrying all the weight on his shoulders. Also in the pack state it is not very compact, as you can see, because of the length of the poles. But it is the most lightweight model Decathlon has for this budget, and for its category and price it is hard to beat. We know that for some bikepackers or motorcyclists for whom the weight is not such a big concern, this tent can be a perfect fit.
We personally have a MSR Elixir 2 tent that we use on our hikes, and it has similar weight and dimensions, but we still like it because of the comfort it gives, so it all comes down to personal preference in the end.
Now we're ready to talk about the setup process. Starting off by laying down the tent body. There is no footprint in the kit with this tent, and in our opinion it is not necessary, as the fabric of the ground sheet is sturdy enough and we wouldn't add an extra weight to it. Then connecting the poles. Inserting the poles crossing in the middle into the special pockets or mounts made of fabric. We like how easy, fast and convenient it is, so we quite like this feature. Then fastening the tent body to the frame using the hooks. And finally mounting the fly sheet over the tent body, making sure that the entrance is on the same side, and fastening it to the loops of the tent body by hooks on 4 sides. Then pitching the 7 pegs in all the loops around, 4 on the corners, 2 on the sides and 1 for vestibule. The guidelines are advisable to fasten, especially if it's windy, but we find that it is necessary in any moment for the tent to hold its form. First you need to attach 4 guidelines to the fly sheet and then stretch them to the sides. Of course, in this case you will need 4 more extra pegs. That makes a total of 11 pegs you need to take. So the setup is very easy indeed. It takes no more than 5 to 10 minutes. And we feel like even a non-experienced person can figure it out and do it quickly with how non-complicated the setup process is. When the tent is all set up, we can see that it is a self-standing or freestanding dome structure type of tent. And thanks to this self-standing two-wall structure, you can use it in two configurations. Pitching just a tent body by pegging it on four sides, that would be nice in the warm, calm weather enjoying the scenery around. Or doing a full setup with fly sheet and guy lines in windy, stormy or more colder weather. This is a clear advantage of a freestanding structure. Also, it lets you move the tent, once it has been assembled, to find the best location. The only color this tent comes in is grey, and we personally love it as we think it is a nice color for stealth camping. The dimensions of the tent body are 130 cm wide by 210 cm long and 105 cm of maximum height. There is one upper air vent at the back of the fly sheet, which is open by default, so you can't close it. And two meshed windows at the front and the back of the tent, that are quite big. It is always important to correctly position the tent pegs all around to provide nice airflow between the tent body and fly sheet to limit the condensation. There is only one entrance to the tent that opens up by a zipper protected by the fabric. When it's open, the door of the fly sheet can be fastened to the side because there is no loops or fastenings. The tent body in its turn opens up and fastens nicely as it has an elastic loop on the side. We also tried to join the fly sheet door to the tent body all together, and it's kind of possible but still not too practical. So as we can see, opening the fly sheet, there is one small vestibule part at the entrance. It is obvious for us that it is too small for two people, leaving two backpacks and shoes as we do on our hikes. But even for one person it can be hard to store there comfortably the backpack and shoes. They simply don't fit well. Of course, it all depends on how much stuff you have, but to us it looks like the place to leave one pair of shoes and no more, if you'd like it to be stored nicely so that they are not seen from outside and safe from rain.
So in our case, we'll be forced to store backpacks inside the tent body, which would reduce the living space far too much. To stay there with comfort. Do not attempt cooking in such narrow vestibule either. It is simply dangerous.
When you're inside, it feels nice and fresh. The design feels modern, having mostly white color and some turquoise details. It is cozy and definitely doesn't look cheap. There are two meshed pockets at the head of the tent that are quite big and convenient. We would add several pockets at the feet too, but at least there are these two. And also an elastic line on the side that can be used for hanging clothes, very thoughtful additional feature. There is one hook in the center for flashlight or lantern and one more additional loop. On the website it is stated that the recommended mattress or sleeping pad width shouldn't be wider than 65 cm and deeper than 6 cm due to the reduction in living space and resistance to condensation, and we would totally agree with it. Because when we were inside doing usual stuff like putting on or putting off clothes, we felt quite tight. The height of the tent is fine, but again not too comfortable for two people. Because of the post construction, the sides of the tent body are coming down on an angle, going narrow from the center. And even when you are laying down, you realize that the space is very limited, especially when you try to move. So to us, it's obvious that the space is not enough for two people.
Now it's time to talk about the fabric it's made of and durability.
The main fabric of the tent is 75% polyester and 25% polyethylene. The fabric is claimed to be with UPF 30 that lets in daylight and filters out some UV rays. It is stated that the tent is able to withstand 40 km/h wind force given that the guidelines are properly set up. 2000 mm of rain for fly sheet and 2400 mm for ground sheet. And it is usually more than enough for the summer camping night out. We could test this model with some gusts of wind and pouring rain several times, and it held up just fine. The seams look well sealed and reliable. Overall, the flysheet makes a good impression that it can withstand different weather conditions that are not too stormy or harsh. The poles are made of 100% glass fiber. Glass fiber poles don't seem very durable at the first sight, as we don't usually see this material for camping gear. But learning more about this material, it has many good qualities and is quite light and durable, which is important. So it may be a good solution for a budget tent.
Normally there shouldn't be much condensation problems, with this tent being 2-walled and all the humidity we had with it was forming in the inside of flysheet and didn't come in contact with the tent body. There isn't much condensation anyway, only nice warm weather if there isn't drastic temperature differences.
With the wrapping up, it is basically the reverse procedure of setting up. First unpacking all the packs and storing them back into the bag. Then detaching the flysheet from the tent body, laying it on the side, unhooking the tent body from the poles, then dismounting the poles and finally folding the flysheet and tent body together, and rolling it over the poles if you want to store it all together. You could also store the poles separately, this way decreasing the volume of the tent pack itself. Using the different compression bag may help to make the tent more compact. We personally couldn't wrap it up the same way as it was packed brand new, but it works for us anyway, as we prefer this easy way of rolling the tent. To store the tent for a long time, you want to make sure that it is completely dry before putting it away. You can purchase this tent on Decathlon store of your country. It comes in grey color only and in 2 or 3 people versions. The prices for it again can vary depending on the country. On Decathlon UK now it costs £30, on Decathlon US $40, and on Decathlon Spain it is around €25. As always, we'll leave all the links down below in the description of the video. This tent has a 3-year warranty and can be repaired in your local Decathlon store. There you may be able to find spare parts for this tent as well. Summing up this video, we want to say that during this review we definitely could see why this tent is so popular amongst so many people. It is clearly one of the most budget tents, but also very good quality ones for the money, with modern design and nice features.
We think this tent is for people who are not concerned much about weight and compactness and want to use tent for several nights out rather than constant heavy use during months of hiking, for example. We can envision it being used by beginners, as the installation process is pretty straightforward. We would recommend this tent for one-person use. It is nice, quite spacious and comfortable.
And for 2 people, in our opinion, it is quite narrow and has a limited room. And even if you're not a hiker or backpacker who want to store the gear in the vestibules, we don't think that it will be very comfortable to spend many nights in a row. Also, it is not made for harsh, stormy weather conditions, but for warm summer nights it is just fine. And this is all for the video of today. We tried to include as much information as we could, and we hope that you find the answers for your doubts and questions and will be able to make the right choice.
Let us know in the comments what is your experience with this tent and any tips you find useful. It will be much appreciated by us and other viewers. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and click that subscribe button with the notification bell to stay up to date with our new videos.
And if you really like our work, you can support us on a Ko-fi account. Every small donation truly counts and motivates us to continue. We are signing off for now. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye. Guys.